The tiger, the beauty and ferocity of the tiger have overwhelmed the speaker. The shock that the sight of the tiger gives him causes him to look farther than the familiar world in the distant deeps or skies. The tiger is burning, bright, a vigorous and dangerous presence in a vast and gloomy place. The strangeness of the fierce animal makes the universe appear an incomprehensible place where the secrets of nature are hidden in a single gloom of night and forest. The mind of the speaker is forced to explore a realm where his senses cannot assist him. Even the stars, first of all created things, were struck with grief and terror when they first viewed this new creature. They watered heaven with their tears and, unable to understand the Creator's purpose, threw down their spears in astonishment and despair. If the Creator smiled to see his work, it cannot be known why. Perhaps it was because the devouring tiger satisfied his cruel nature. Perhaps because his greater wisdom, he saw a place for the tiger in the scheme of things. The speaker does not even know if the same power created both the tiger and the lamb. There is a possibility suggested in the second stanza that the maker might be a subordinate being who used materials taken with great care, dating from remote and dangerous parts of an already existent universe. The Creator cannot be described. He has wings and hands and feet. We are only held in fascinated attention by the details of the immense process by which the tiger was created. We see the shoulder exerting its strength, the hand in control of its materials, shoulder exerting its strength, and the feet as he moves about his work. The tiger is twisted and forged into shape under great force. As the beast takes shape, the tension in the poem becomes greater. The questions are broken off in mid sentence, and the speaker speaks in a breathless gasp of wonder until the process is complete at the end of the fourth stanza. The strength and the terrifying beauty of the animal are transferred to the description of its creation. We never lose awareness of the animal, though in the course of the poem there is a shift in perspective away from the animal and towards the mystery of its creator. In the first stanza, the speaker asks, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? The ability of the maker must be amazing because his creature is so wonderful, it has symmetry. In the last stanza, the speaker wonders what immortal hand or eye could dare frame the tearful symmetry. We are still aware of the terrible beauty of the animal, but are more concerned with the mystery of the mind and the purpose of the Creator. The tiger may be regarded as a pure poetry of Blake's trust in cosmic forces. The images of the tiger recur in the prophetic books, but in the poem they have a special strength and freedom. The tiger is Blake's symbol for the fierce forces in the soul which are needed to break the bonds of experience. The forests of the night in which the tiger lurks are ignorance, repression, and superstition. The tiger has been fashioned by unknown supernatural spirits like Blake's mythical heroes, and this happened when the stars threw down their spears, that is, in some enormous cosmic crisis, when the universe turned round in its course and began to move from light to darkness. The images in this poem are so compelling that for the most part they explain themselves, and we have an immediate, overwhelming impression of an awful power lurking in the darkness of being and forcing on us questions which pierce to the heart of life. Just as early in the Songs of Innocence, Blake sets his mind, or sets his poem about the lamb with its artless question, little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? That is Blake. So Blake sets his poem, or rather in the Songs of Experience, Blake sets his poem about a tiger with its more frightening and more frightened question. The lamb and the tiger are symbols of two different states of the human soul. When the tiger is destroyed by experience, or rather, sorry, when the lamb is destroyed by experience, the tiger is needed to restore the world. The tiger deals with the immense problem of evil. Blake could not consider evil abstractly. His God was essentially personal, therefore, evil must be his wrath. God, out of Christ, is a consuming fire. He wrote elsewhere, and he said of Christ, He is the only God. The problem of the tiger is quite simply how to reconcile the forgiveness of sins, the lamb, with the punishment of sins, the tiger. So it is evident that the climax of the poem, which is reached in the line, Did he want, or did he who made the lamb make thee? Is not an exclamation of wonder, but a very real question whose answer Blake was not sure of. The fire has been, or has widely been used as a symbol of wrath. Spencer wrote, Wrath is a fire. Milton spoke of flames as a sign of wrath await. Blake's association of fire with his tiger lines 1, 6, and 8 was due to the old symbol. Blake found some good in wrath. For instance, he wrote, The wrath of the lion is the wisdom of God, and also the tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. Another very old symbol is that of the forest. The forest in Blake is the world of experience where the many sterile errors, dead trees conceal the path and dim the light. With these two symbols fixed in our minds, we can see readily the answer to the question at the function of wrath, concealed in the very first lines of the poem. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. Blake intends to suggest that the great purpose of wrath is to consume error, to annihilate those stubborn beliefs which cannot be removed by the tame horses of instruction. The order of this lyric is typical of Blake. He shows the entire process of the tiger's creation. First, the fire of his eyes is gathered from the cosmos, then the heart is created, the feet forged, and ultimately the brain. Blake describes the creation by a series of white hot exclamations rather than by an elaborate description. What red hand and what red feet? What's the hammer? What's the chain? In what furnace was the brain? What's the anvil? The effect is one of an intense improvisation, but an exclamation or rather an examination of the manuscript shows at once that Blake made a great many corrections during the composition of the poem. The last but one stanza is intrinsic to the whole effect of the poem. The stars in the dark sky and the tiger burning in the dark forest are somehow one. Those same stars which gave up their battle and fell into the grief are one at the same time with the rebel angels. Thus, the tiger has been brought into some sort of relation with Saturn or the satanic host. The poem seems ultimately to go back to Revelations 22nd, 16, where Christ says, I am the bright and the morning star. Since Saturn was also identified with the morning star, Lucifer, Blake's stanza takes on a curious ambiguity. When Blake wrote his poem, he had probably in mind Isaac Watts' hymn on the terrors of God. Watts had written, Great God, how terrible thou art! God is a bright and burning fire, and God's eye burns with immortal jealousy. The tiger in the poem is no simple creation of the deity, he is a deity. If God could have seen the fall of the angels he himself made and viewed his benignly as he viewed each day's work of creation, then God is himself the tiger. Just as there is question to answer, how could one God have created both the tigers and the lamb? So the poem implies there is a prior question, what immortal hand or eye could have created a God who is at once a God of love and one of the terrible jealousy, a tiger and a lamb? In short, Blake is here continuing the hymn of tradition or a hymn tradition and at the same time inverting it and challenging it. Contrary to his predecessors, he saw the God of love, God of terror formula was not a sacred mystery of religion but a stupefying fraud. A contemporary critic wrote, "The tiger rises with the subject, it wears the garb of grandeur, with the idea of creation, communicates to a mind of the higher order. Our bard, having brought the topic, descants on it from warmer platitudes than his own, is justified in adopting an imagery of almost oriental feature and complexion. The tiger is the best known of Blake's song and most frequently and elaborately interpreted. The phrase fearful symmetry, whatever its possible symbolic suggestions, is clearly the initial puzzle. The symmetry implies an ordering hand or intelligence. The fearful throws doubt on the benevolence of the Creator. The forest of the night, or the darkness out of which the tiger looms. Brilliant in contrast, they also embody the doubt or confusion that surrounds the origins of the tiger. In the case of the lamb, the Creator calls himself a lamb. He is meek and he is mild. He becomes a little child. In the tiger, the Creator again is like what he creates in a form that must be supplied him. Is now the Promethean smith working violently at his forge. The tiger is an image of the Creator. Its deadly terror must be his. The most puzzling stanza of the poem is the next to last. When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? The first two lines are the crux of the poem. Are the tears the rage of the defeated or the tears of mercy? The wrath serves the ultimate end of redemption and becomes one with mercy. If the God of apparent wrath is also the God of forgiveness, the tiger's form is only superficially tearful, or rather say fearful. The tiger dramatizes the terrors of the shocked doubter, but it moves with assurance to an assertion of faith in the oneness of God, in the goodness of wrath, in the holiness of the prophetic rage. When the last stanza repeats the first, but for the alterations of could to dare the question has been answered, the inconceivable of the first stanza has become the majestic certainty of the last, the daring of the Creator, whether God or man, is a cleansing wrath of the tiger. Thank you.